I absolutely want to look at the opportunity to trade the house down here. That's the ASX only, predictable efficiency off the bottom. Not surprisingly, pre-pro low took some off. This down here, that's pretty high odds that this thing's going up, isn't it? Why? Because you're using an area that people don't know about. This is where you size up. Now, I couldn't because I had a multi-planned approach to get some. And so by the time I got down here, I'd put risk on, but my risk is not from here to here, is it? So I had to compensate that. So that was like aces, but really the way I played it, as if it was a much poorer hand. That's not the cards I'm playing. I'm playing cards that are somewhere around here. That was the Singapore covering move. So now I've got a high odds scenario, haven't I? So just trading predictable efficiency, that's the playbook trade. Using intel that others aren't aware of. So informational edge, predictable efficiency in the context of the house, because the house is dominating. As I said, got to get through the open first up. Look at the size coming in here on the other side of all that losing. Itching to get on the long side of this, but of course we never fade the tram tracks. Starting to get long here. See those little failures in there? That was my cue. So there's some offside sellers. These sellers, they're offside. So predictable efficiency. Look what the market makers just did. That's predictable. This is no longer long at the next ASX only. At this point here, it's like it's so close, isn't it? You have to be thinking, well, how much am I risking of paper profit, right? All of that versus the little bit more that's potential when what you're risking to what you're hanging out for starts to get inverted. And the more it gets inverted, the more you want to be going, I better take some money from one unknown area that we operate on to another, knowing in advance who would be dominating. There's nothing here today in this trade that we haven't acted on in the past. It's all the same familiar stuff. That's it. So in here, obviously had to take some. I mentioned having to weather a little bit of heat within this. So that's what it looks like in the end. I don't think of this as the U-Butte best trade that you go all in, because it just wasn't. It wasn't bad odds, it was great. But there are certainly those times when you just get huge amounts of exiting traders completely on the wrong side. You know, the bloodbaths, they're the ones where you press and press. And as it's going your way, you can keep adding to it. But you can't do that until you've actually experienced it enough times so that you can clearly differentiate what it's like. What most people do is, oh, it's going my way, add. That's not how it works. Take certain situations, which do happen every month, but that's certainly better than just your ordinary scalp. You get plenty of these every week. You get many more of the stuff that really doesn't do much, a bit of a scalp, but it's the pulled hours in front of the screens just by virtue of being there. You'll get the bigger ones